The moment we saw the house, we knew it was the one. A fresh start, a new beginning for our little family. It was perfect. A two-story Victorian with a wraparound porch set back from the road. The kids were ecstatic, already planning which rooms would be theirs. The only catch, the backyard. It was a jungle, completely overgrown, with ancient, gnarled trees that blocked out the sun. Still, a little landscaping never hurt anyone, right? We were so caught up in the excitement we barely noticed them at first, small, weathered stones peeking through the weeds at the far end of the property. They looked like old property markers or maybe something else, but we were too happy to care. This was our forever home. The first few days were a blur of unpacking boxes and painting walls. The kids, however, were more interested in exploring the wild backyard. That's when it started. My youngest, Lily, came running inside, her face pale, clutching something in her hand. It was a small piece of bone, weathered and gray. My husband told her it was probably from a squirrel, but then my son, Leo, called us over to the back fence. He'd cleared away some of the thorny bushes and found them. Headstones, not just a few, but dozens, tilted and half sunk into the earth. The names were illegible, worn away by time. That night, things felt different. A sudden chill would hang in the air, even with the windows closed. A toy would roll across the floor on its own. We tried to rationalize it, drafts, the house settling, but a deep sense of unease began to creep in. We weren't alone here. The feeling of being watched became constant. Lights would flicker and die in certain rooms, only to come back on moments later. Doors we knew we'd shut would be found wide open. One evening I was doing dishes and saw a shadow dart across the kitchen doorway out of the corner of my eye. I called out, thinking it was Leo, but he was upstairs in his room. The cold spots became more frequent, more intense, like walking through pockets of ice. Then my husband saw it. He was looking out the window as dusk settled, and he swore he saw a figure standing among the gravestones. A tall, thin silhouette just watching the house. When he blinked, it was gone. The house no longer felt like a home. It felt like a trap, and we were the ones who had been caught. We were living in their space, and they were starting to get impatient. The whispers started next. Faint, hissing sounds that seemed to come from the walls themselves. Then the real terror began. We were having dinner when a plate suddenly flew off the table and shattered against the wall. The children screamed. Glassware rattled in the cabinets, and the lights strobed violently, plunging us into darkness and then blinding us with light. We saw them then not just shadows, but full apparitions. Pale, translucent figures gliding through the hallway, their faces contorted in silent screams. That was it. We grabbed the kids and ran for the front door, but it slammed shut, the deadbolt sliding into place on its own. We were trapped. We scrambled for the back door, bursting out into the yard, but it was no better. The air grew heavy and cold, and the ground seemed to shift beneath our feet. Figures rose from behind the gravestones, surrounding us, their empty eyes fixed on us. We don't know how we got out. It was a frantic, desperate blur of clawing at the fence, of screaming until our throats were raw. Somehow we tumbled through a broken slat and just ran, never looking back. We left everything behind. Weeks later, safely in a small apartment across town, my husband was scrolling through real estate listings. And there it was, our house. The listing was new, the photo showing a beautifully manicured lawn. The overgrown yard was gone. But as we zoomed in on the picture, a cold dread washed over us. At the very back of the property, where the old stones had been, the earth looked freshly disturbed. And in the distance, a car was pulling up the long driveway, a new, unsuspecting family getting out, their faces full of the same hope we once had. Because some secrets can't stay buried, and that ground will always be hungry for more. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy chilling stories like this, make sure to subscribe.